Hi, everyone. I am your host, Cindy, and welcome back to my podcast. This episode is the first episode to my 4-week series on debt management, and I'm really excited to talk about it. So, this episode is Mastering Your Finances with the Debt Snowball Method, and this is a method that is most recommended. I actually use this personally myself. This is the most recommended that I advise my clients to use. And so this is something I'm actually going to be getting into a little deeper during my live debt workshop that is happening March 27th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you don't want to miss out on registering. That is going to be available very soon. But let's get into it. So, what is the debt snowball method? Basically, the debt snowball method is listing out your debts from smallest balances to the largest balances. And you are going to be making the minimum payments on all but the smallest balance or the smallest debt, I should say. Now, I don't want to get into the weeds of how to set up your plan or how to implement this, but because over the next couple of weeks in this 4-week series, I will be covering how to implement and set up your debt snowball method. But basically, with this method, you will be listing out your debts with the exception of your mortgage. Now, I always recommend do not include your mortgage into this because your mortgage is much larger, so it would take a much longer time to pay off. And that doesn't really give you much motivation to keep going. So I always emphasize on focusing on the smallest debt, putting any extra money towards paying off the smallest balance. And celebration is key with this method because celebrating your victories, whether big or small, when paying off each of your balance will give you motivation to keep on going. And as you continue the process and you repeat this for every single balance, it gives you more discipline. You learn a lot about yourself and also gives you more motivation. So, the idea of this method of paying off smaller debts first, it just allows you to gain that momentum, right? So, motivation that you will get from those small wins, whether big or small, but just wins in general, making it easier to stay focused and disciplined as you tackle those larger debts. Because it will start to feel like, wow, like I got this down. I'm making progress here with all my smaller debts. And then when you get to the point of making all those extra payments on the larger debts, it's going to take a little longer because those balances are larger, which is why I always recommend holding off on your mortgage because that is the biggest. So, let's get into the psychological benefits. Why does the debt snowball method work? Why is it the most beneficial? Why is it the most recommended? I mean, in summary, instant gratification, motivation, sense of accomplishment. I mean, those are very, very key. But I want to talk about motivational boosts here. I want to talk about quick wins because paying off your smallest debt first, you get to achieve a quick win more frequently and quicker. This in turn provides you with a sense of accomplishment. I mean, that's a huge milestone. The immediate success will help to boost your motivation and keep you focused on your goals. So, this is why, again, psychologically, now we're just talking about psychological benefits. Quick wins will boost your motivation. Also, reduced overwhelming feelings, right? Like starting with the smallest debts will um, you can make the process feel more manageable when you are focusing on those smaller debts. It's less overwhelming for you. It's just much easier to tackle one small debt at a time rather than facing the entire mountain of debt all at once, which is why, again, I will always recommend do not include your mortgage into this. This is very, very, very important. Now, also increase confidence. I mean, we want to build our confidence, right? Our financial confidence. I want you to feel confident when you look at your bank account, you look at your savings and you think, "Wow, like I've got this," right? As you start to eliminate smaller debts, you build on that confidence and your ability to manage and pay off debt. This growing self assurance can help you to stay committed to your debt repayment plan, which is something that I elaborate more in my upcoming debt workshop. So I really hope that you will take the time and register because it's going to be a really in-depth workshop. And now let's talk about reward systems. Each time you pay off your debt, you experience a positive reinforcement, similar to a reward system, but this reinforces the behavior paying off your debt and encourages you to continue. I always recommend a similar reward system when you hit a milestone. It doesn't have to be monetary, it could be anything else, but try to implement that. And also, like the snowball effect, right? This is why it's called the snowball effect, is because just like an actual snowball rolling down a hill, gathering more snow, paying off smaller debts first creates that momentum. It helps you to tackle those larger debts more effectively. And of course, let's talk about peace of mind because reducing the number of debts that you owe can alleviate the stress and anxiety that's associated with managing multiple creditors. As the number of debts start to decrease, you'll likely feel more at ease and in control of your financial situation. And that's an amazing feeling. So, by focusing on the psychological benefits, the debt snowball method not only helps you to pay off your debts, but it also empowers you to develop healthier financial habits and a more positive mindset towards debt repayment. So, I do want to give a little teaser at my upcoming debt management workshop because, you know, this is something that I feel like is so beneficial to so many people. It does not matter how much debt you have. So long as you have debt, if you feel overwhelmed, if you don't know where to start, if you don't have a solid plan in place, if you don't even have a budget and want to get started, I mean, whatever the case is, whatever your financial situation is, I am here to help. And my debt workshop will cover everything. I will be giving an overview of debt management, the benefits to having a solid plan in place and paying off your debt. Not only that, but I am going to be providing you a free workbook to give you the ability to walk through each and every single step that I will be covering during the workshop. It is going to be easy peasy for you, and I will provide so much resources and tools for you. I'm covering my 3-step framework, and it's a proven framework because so many of my clients have already hit financial freedom and have paid off their debt. And typically, I'd be covering like one step of my 3-step framework, but in this workshop, I am covering all 3 steps, but I'm going into greater detail of the second step, which is debt repayment. So, again, I'm diving deeper. My debt workshop is going to be 4 simple steps to paying off your debt using this framework. Okay. Another huge bonus, I also have a huge pre sale offering to my signature course. My signature course will be focusing on everything that you can think of personal finances. I'm talking about setting up financial goals, realistic financial goals, to creating a realistic balanced budget. I'm going to be giving you Excel spreadsheet tools, resources, recommended free budget apps to use. I mean, there's so many great things that I'm going to be offering in the signature course. And I am only offering a pre sale to my workshop students. So join the mailing list, register for this workshop. It is already up for sale. It's only $27. Okay. So jump on that. So I want to close with this and I want to recap. Again, these are bite-sized episodes. I try not to go beyond 30 minutes. 30 minutes is my max on these episodes, but you'll even find some episodes to be only like maybe 10 minutes long. And so I'm trying to keep these short as possible. once a week, launching every Tuesday. So please, please, please be on the lookout for new episodes each week. So just to recap, I've covered just a brief introduction to what the Debt Snowball Method is. And next week, I'll be covering how to implement that with your debt repayment plan. Focusing on paying off your smallest debt first. Any extra money that you can get and find and make, apply that to your smallest balance. I also talked about the key benefits psychologically to doing this method and the importance of celebrating your small wins. Always celebrate your victories. And don't forget about my debt workshop. Again, it's live. It's going to be live on March 27th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you get a lifetime access, which means I will be providing you a link to the recording. And yes, there will be a replay. You can, I'll be recording it so you can access it anytime you want, review it at your own pace. You get lifetime access. So you'll always have it. Okay. So this is super beneficial in case you want to do a reset. But again, I just want to express my gratitude, my sincere gratitude to my listeners for tuning in, listening this far, supporting my podcast. I really do want to get the good news out there about, personal financing, that it's easy, that it's so manageable just with my hope. I mean, my help and my coaching. Like, I love to help people as much as possible, but make it also affordable for people because, I mean, after all, this is, personal finances and, sometimes it's hard for people. So I want to be able to help you. And I also want to invite you to connect with me on Instagram, subscribe to my podcast on Apple Music or Spotify so you don't miss out on any of my next episodes. But until then, take care and God bless.